Uh, Good morning, everybody. Today, the lesson is about trigonometry. We are going to start from the basics. What is trigonometry? How we can apply it in our daily life, and about different rules, Pythagoras theorems, and sine and cosine rules. So, this is the first video about trigonometry. Starting from here, that what actually is a triangle. Triangle is a shape which has three sides, and the sides, that it's not important that all sides has to be like equal or stuff like that. There is no such thing in this particular shape of triangle. No condition applied regarding sides, but there should be three sides. And if you talk about angles, some of the interior angles should be equal to 180 degrees. From interior angle, I actually mean these angles. The sum of these three angles should be equal to 180 degrees. Now let's talk about right angle triangles. The right angle triangles are the triangles whose one angle is actually equal to 90 degrees. Right angle, one angle should be 90 degrees. Like for example, this is, I can say, a right angle triangle. If we talk about like naming these, so I call that this is an angle A, this is an angle C, and this is an angle B. So wherever you are putting your angle, the opposite side is the name of the side. We say this side is A, this side is C, and this side is B. So side, you always take the opposite with respect to your angle. So let's talk about here. Let's say that we have a triangle, a right angle triangle. And why I'm calling it a right angle triangle? Because one of the angle is actually equals to 90 degrees. The other two angles, you don't know what is what are the other two angles, but the sum of these three angles should be equal to 180 degrees. Okay? Sum of this angle, and this angle should be equal to 180 degrees. Okay. So if I name this triangle, let's say it's A, B, and C. So what should be the side? This side will be called, this is the angle A, so this will be side A. This is the angle C, so this will be side C. And this is the angle B, so this will be side B, right? Okay. So we say the longest side, this side, the longest side, or in other words, the side which is opposite to the angle 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. This is the side which is opposite to 90 degrees, or the longest side of the right angle triangle. We call this as our hypotenuse. Okay, this is the hypotenuse. The side which is opposite to hypotenuse is what we call as opposite. We also call this side as a perpendicular side, because since it's perpendicular. So it's your choice. There are many names to this. Okay, so I personally prefer perpendicular because it's easier one, because it's just the side of the 90 degree, so it's perpendicular. And the side, this part, which is adjacent to opposite, we call it as adjacent, or we call it as base. Both are right names for it. So after learning this right angle triangle, so whenever you form any kind of a triangle, how you are going to consider that, what is the, so how you are going to consider which part is the hypotenuse? It's the opposite side of the right angle triangle. Okay, this is the angle forming, so the opposite side will be your hypotenuse. Okay, and it's the longest side also. The side which is opposite to hypotenuse, we call it as perpendicular or opposite, and the side which is adjacent to opposite is adjacent, or we call it as base. This will form this will actually take us to one very important conclusion, which is the Pythagoras theorem. Now, what does Pythagorean theorem says? Okay, Pythagorean theorem is only for right angle, triangle. Okay, always keep this in mind that the Pythagorean theorem is only for the right angle triangle. If you are given with such triangle, you cannot apply Pythagorean theorem to this particular triangle. It can only be applied on triangles which has 190-degree angle to it. Now, let's, for example, if this is the side A, this is the side C, and this is the side B. Let's say what Pythagorean theorem states. It says that my C square is equal to A square plus B square. Or you can say square of my hypotenuse should be equal to the sum of square of my opposite and my adjacent, right? Square both terms, the opposite and the adjacent, and add them. You can also write, it doesn't matter, okay? Because in math it holds a commutative property, so it doesn't matter that you are writing your base before or you are writing your perpendicular before. It doesn't matter, but the hypothesis should be on the other side of the equal sign. So this is very important, very, very, very important. We apply this formula in order to get another side of our right angle triangle. It's very, very, very important formula. Okay, let's solve one example related to this particular problem. Okay, now let's start one problem related to this one. Okay, the problem states that you walk east for 2 centimeter, then north for, let's say, 3 centimeter. How far are you? How far your starting point is? Okay, for example, you have taken this example. This is you walk east for 2 centimeter and then north for 3 centimeters. How far your starting point is? One very important key point: whenever you are solving any question related to trigonometry, first draw that question. Very, very important skill. So first you are going to draw what? That you are going east, and let's say scale it that this is 2 centimeter, and then you go north, right? 3 centimeter, east, west, north, south. Okay, so what is the distance? This, you want to know that you are over here. You want to know that what is the distance from your starting point. This is unknown, right? So this is 90 degrees. So this will be my, any side which is opposite to my right angle is my hypotenuse, right? This is my C here, and let's say this is A and this is B. Okay, so now what you can do is your C square is equals to A square plus B square. So you can say, okay, fine, your C square is equals to 2 square plus 3 square. So your C square is equals to 4 plus 9, and 9 plus 4 is 13. So your C square is equals to 13, and your C is equals to plus minus 13. Why plus minus 13? Because whenever you take under root, like if I want to cancel this square root, I have to take square root on both sides, right? I want to cancel this square. I need to take square root on both sides. This square will be cancelled with this root, but this root, this root is going to give me a positive and a negative result, right? this is a positive and negative result. But since it's only a distance, so we'll just keep the positive number. For positive, you don't even have to mention the sign positive because it's understood it's positive. Okay, so this is how you solve such questions. Hope you understand this. So the answer to this question is under root 13. So first thing is analyze the question correctly, what it's asking for. Draw it and then try to implement.